Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Ultimate American Werewolf in London Shadow Demon. Okay, so taking a look at the box, you can see you have this awesome lenticular cover, which is very cool. I really love it when they do stuff like this. It just makes the box look so awesome. You have the American Werewolf in London logo, the Ultimate Nightmare Daemons, even though there's only one demon, but we'll get onto that shortly. On the side you have this very nice image of two of the head sculpts, and then on the other side you have the other two head sculpts. On the top you also have the logo again, plus some warning choking hazard things, and on the bottom you have a load of legal stuff. If you open the packaging, you get this very nice image of all four of them together, all brandishing their weapons, and then you also get this very nice window display of the actual figure itself, including all of the heads and the accessories. And there's me. Hello. So, very nice packaging. In fact, I'd go out of my way to say that if you're an inbox collector, you're going to be very happy here. And if you're not, like me, you might want to consider just keeping this box because it really looks nice. Okay, I meant to say Nightmare Demon. I don't know where I keep getting Shadow Demon from. But here he is, out the box. And as you can see, he looks absolutely amazing, as most NECA figures do. But I'm more about figure build quality than just appearances, because it's all well and good if you've got something that looks great, but if it can't stand or it can't function, then in my opinion it's not a great product. But I am very pleased to say that not only does this figure tick the boxes of good looking, but it also ticks the boxes of very well made. So in fact, I would go as far as to say that this might actually be one of the best, if not the best, figure that NECA have ever produced. And I'm not over-exaggerating when I say that. So, here he is. This is the head that comes included on the figure in the packaging. And it is one of the four many heads that you can display him with. But I personally actually prefer this one. And something I didn't realise was the helmet is actually removable, and I didn't realise this until I'd had the toy for a few days. So, taking a look at him, it's a typical German uniform, which I really like. You know, you've got that very kind of Darth Vader looking helmet. It's got some very nice details on it. You have the strap as well as the belt. Got pockets and buttons, which have been very nicely sculpted. But what's really incredible about this is the PVC plastic that they've used actually does have a texture on it, which does make it feel like an actual fabric, which is awesome. That is such an attention to detail. It's very cool. I really do like this one. I apologise if my voice is a bit breaky. I have just not long woke up, so... You got the leather gloves, very nice, and his leather boots, which once again, something I've just noticed even now, look, they even have that kind of scratching, that creasing, so it does look as though they're made of leather. Absolutely phenomenal. You have the stitching going down the trousers. You can see where the belt carries on around the back. You just see up the back of the head there, which is very nice. You have those little pouches on top of the shoulders. And also some stitching around the wrists. Very nice, as well as stitching all over the pockets. Really looks great. Like, it looks, on the shelf, it looks like a miniature what we actually see in the film. You know, it doesn't really look that much like a toy. Due to the way it's been painted, the articulation is hidden very well, especially on the legs. You know, even though they do have visible joints here, with the colour that it's sculpted in and the colour it's painted, it's really difficult to spot from a distance, which I really like. So, turning to articulation, All of the heads can do a full 360 technically. However, I would advise that with this head, you don't do that because of all the added hair. It tends to scrape against the collar. So just to be on the safe side, don't do that. They can also lean from side to side, this one especially, very far. Can come forward a good amount and also backward a really good amount. The arms can come out to roughly about 90 degrees, but they are slightly hindered by the PVC of the uniform. The arms don't have a double bend, but they can come out reasonably far, which is good. They also have a full rotation at the hand, as well as forward and back motion. There is a full 360 at the waist, as well as, I think, a slight ab crunch, but I can't be sure, to be honest. It could just be stiff, but I think there might be something in there. Always going to praise them, as you guys know. They are using the brand new ball peg joints, so your legs are going to be very sturdy. They're not going to flap around all over the place, and the figure will stand with very good ease. The legs can come forward reasonably far, however, I wouldn't recommend leaving them in this position because you might damage the PVC nappy that goes on the crotch area of the figure, so you don't want to do that. The legs can also swivel, so you can adjust them that way, and the legs can bend a very good 90 degrees. They do come right the way back, as well as also being able to swivel. And then on the boots, they can go full up and down, as well as pivot from side to side. So you do have a fantastic amount of motion with this figure. Also, yeah, the arms do rotate. Sorry, I forget to mention that. So overall for articulation, it's not the most articulated NECA figure ever, but I actually like that they're not doing as much articulation on their newer figures, because I always find when you add too much articulation, it's more joints to get loose and it just makes the figure really wonky. So I'm happy that they are going for a much more solid design. However, in saying that, it does have very, very good range of motion, actually, you know, for something that is very solid. So I will give them that. I think they've done the perfect combination here. So this figure comes with an absolute plethora of accessories for it only being one figure, and the reason why is I'm sure the intention is to persuade you to go and buy more of them. So it does come with 3 other swappable heads as well as this one. You have the much more werewolf, just bring him into focus, the much more werewolf looking demon. Very, very cool. This is my second favourite. And then you have the very sort of half midway through transformation looking werewolf. See, he even has, I think they're bite marks up his face. Very, very well painted eyes and teeth. Look really good. And then lastly, my least favourite in my opinion, I just think it's quite plain, but that's how it was in the film. Yeah, no hair at all, but it just still has that kind of animal look to it. The ears are slightly pointy and you've got those big fangs. So yeah, and you can choose whichever head you want. It's purely down to personal preference. He does come also with 2 interchangeable hands to help you hold some of the other accessories. For example, this hand is for holding, this hand here is for holding the flamed stick, which they use to set the house on fire, as you can see in the background. And this hand, I think, is for holding another gun, or it could be the knife, actually, I'm not quite sure. Possibly the knife. Speaking of knives, you do get both a clean knife and a bloody knife, so whichever one you guys prefer is up to you. And lastly, my favourite accessories, aside from the heads, you get the weapons that they come included with. So one of them, I think it was the bald one here, he used a knife from what I remember, because he tries to slit your man's throat. And I think he also used this to light the place on fire. The wolf, this one, used a Sten gun. This is a British weapon, so I have quite a fondness for it, even though it really wasn't the best. And the detail on it is absolutely incredible. You have the barrel, you even have the little thing that you pull back when you've reloaded it. You have the sights, which look very good. It's almost like you're playing Call of Duty here, look. Very, very amazing detail. And then the one here had the Uzi 9mm. So that's very, very cool. You see the detail on it is incredible. I do have a slight problem with this, which I will get onto shortly. And the final one, which was held by this one, the Mach 11, one of my favourite weapons. I love how tiny it is, and I love how fast it can shoot. It's very, very cool. Sadly, though, I did have an issue with mine. The stock broke whilst trying to put it in the figure's hand, and this is very, very irritating. And yeah, I was going to super glue it, but I thought I'll save it for this review. So this is one thing that I am going to warn you about now, guys. The weapons are extremely brittle on this figure. They break very easily. This Uzi 9mm, sadly, the trigger broke whilst trying to put it into the hands. There is a bit of a breakage there. If you can see you can't really see because it won't focus. Yeah, just there, look, see the plastic has kind of snapped. It hasn't fallen off, but it's still very, very annoying. So yeah, my Mach 11 just doesn't have a stock. It's a bit of a freehand. You know, it also has this little rubber band here. It's quite cool. Personally, I'd say the Sten gun is my favourite. It just feels the most solid out of all the weapons, but for accuracy's sake, I'm going to give him the Mach 11. What I've noticed is that the hands, you really do have to be very careful when you slot the gun into them. But yeah, it does work very well. So you could shake it up a little bit. You don't have to be entirely film accurate. You could put the knife in this hand and put the Mach 11 in this hand. It really is whatever you guys want. Now, the one accessory that is a shame that they didn't include was bullet fire for the guns. I think that just would have added just a little bit more, you know, that you could clip onto the end, so you could recreate it when they're just shooting up the place. I think that's the one thing I was upset they didn't include. But yeah, it's very, very cool. I do love this figure. And technically, I'm going to count this as an accessory because it is removable. As I said, the helmet, really hope it doesn't break, because it has a rubber band. There it is. The helmet for this head is removable. Now, it has a peg hole at the top, so that might discourage you from displaying it like this, but you technically can display it like that if you want to. And here's the helmet. It has the rubber band, and then you can see the peg hole in there. Well, not the peg hole, the peg which plugs into the hole. A very nice detail on it. It's got this kind of dark brushing, as well as these little chips and bumps that have been taken out of it. Just gives it this very battle damaged and realistic look. And if you want to swap the heads, this one pops off incredibly easy. This was the one that came with it. The others, however, are extremely difficult to attach, or at least on mine. So this might be the bit where I have to stop recording as always. Now, sadly, this head doesn't seem to ever want to stay on for me, but there he is. So I'm definitely going to have to pick up more than one of these, you know, because I would like to have, I would say if I had to choose two, it would be this one and the head that I previously showed you guys. It would have to be these two, just because I think they're more werewolf, so they look cooler. And I suppose if you wanted to, I'm not sure if that would work. No, it wouldn't. It's a shame about the peg, because I think the band would have been enough to hold it on, and that way you could have put the helmet on him if you wanted to. You could have shook it up a little bit, but that's all right. And then, as I said, if you were displaying this one, you best give him the Sten gun. And it's very nice as well because this hand here can actually hold the magazine from the side. So you really can do it in an accurate way, which I like. And then pop it off. And we'll put this guy on because my mom does like this one. She said it was her favourite. Yeah, it doesn't really clip on, but it does stay on this one. So here he is. I mean, they all look cool, don't get me wrong. I just prefer the more werewolf-looking ones. This guy is sort of midway transformation. Yeah, so that is very cool, actually. It's purely personal preference. It's whatever you guys want, really. But it is nice. If you only have one of them and you don't plan on getting any more, it might be nice to just shake it up a little bit, you know, maybe swap the head and swap the guns every now and then, you know, just change it up. So here, this just gives you guys a rough idea of what they look like, you know, when they're with all the different heads on. So yeah, it is very, very cool. And I do really like this burning stick. So if you want to swap out the hands, very simple. They pop off very easily. I love that they're on peg joints, so I'm far less worried that I'm going to break them like some other figures. And then you just take the hand to hold the torch. One thing I always recommend is put the accessory in the hand before you attach it. Just means you're less likely to break anything, so yeah. It does have this really nice wooden texture as well as the flame effect, but yeah, you just pop it on and then pop that in. They go in really easily, which I like. And then yeah, you can start to, when you display him in the backdrop with the house on fire, it does actually look really cool. So yeah, you can start setting the house on fire. But this figure is just great. I think it is a fan favourite. You know, I hear people singing its praises all over the place. And it really is just fantastic. I think this is definitely one that I'm going to have to try and pick up another one. But, you know, money is getting quite scarce at the moment. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But I am happy with the one that I have. It was a great Christmas present. So I want to say a big thank you to my mom for picking it up for me. Yeah, I'd say this is a contender for my favourite NECA figure ever. It's just brilliant. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. It's very sturdy, and it has lots of amazing accessories. So also included in the box is this really, really nice backdrop of the burning living room. You can see that this is actually a photo of a set that NECA has made. I really love it when they do this. You know, they haven't just taken a screen grab from the film, because I imagine the quality wouldn't be amazing. So yeah, very, very nice they've done this. You can see the plastic fire that they've put in there. I wonder, you know, is that the campfire from the Friday the 13th Part 2, Jason? It'd be interesting if it was. And then you've got all these really nice things that they've built here, nice set. I'd love to do this kind of thing, build dioramas for figures. But yeah, it'd be a nice little side project to do. But it's very nice that you do get included with this in the box, so you have something to display your figures in. Also, did forget to mention that on the back of the box you do have these very nice publicity images of the characters, all with the different heads on, and this awesome, awesome picture here, which you guys are going to be able to recreate if you have 4 of these figures. So overall, what do I think of this figure? Absolutely love it. A solid 9 out of 10 for me, and the only thing that stops it from being a 10 out of 10 really is how fragile the weapons are. It was really, really irritating. You know, you get a Christmas present, you really love it, and then it breaks as soon as you open it. It can be very frustrating. However, it didn't take away from the experience of this figure. As I said, the guns are very small, so it's understandable why they'd be a bit fragile. However, I just think it would have been a much smarter decision to cast them in a more softer plastic, so they're more pliable and less likely to break. I think casting them in a very brittle plastic was definitely a bad idea. I understand it does give them a more shiny and realistic look. However, I really think that NECA should have taken into account just how brittle these would be. So, yeah, that's my one complaint. Everything else, though, in terms of sculpting, articulation, build quality, it's an absolute 10 out of 10. And if you're a fan of American Werewolf in London, as I am, it's a horror classic. It's very popular here in the UK due to the amount of British actors that are seen in it from things that, you know, aren't really horror related actually, although a lot of you guys may remember a certain character from being in Alien 3, and yeah, he was, so. But very amazing film, even though this sequence only lasted a couple of minutes, if that. A lot of people said to me, wait, that's not an American Werewolf in London. It's like, yes it is. It might be a bizarre figure to release, but it's a very, very awesome one. And I tell you, if you're someone out there who's got the money and you've been able to pick up 4 of these figures, I am very jealous because you can now have this really, really nice display. However, being able to swap the heads around on one figure is quite fun, and it does add a lot of, well, I'm just going to say it, play value, because, you know, I do like to have a little play with my toys every now and then. Think of me what you will, I don't really care. But this improved sturdiness, especially with the new ball peg joints, makes the figure less likely to break when you're playing with it. So yeah, NECA toys are becoming a lot more sturdy and they are becoming a lot more better made. They still have their problems here and there, but overall for this figure, I think it is definitely worthy of the solid 9 out of 10. So I'd like to thank all of you for watching. If you're new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I plan on doing a lot more NECA reviews recently. If you haven't seen it, also go check out my Halloween 2 Ultimate Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis 2-pack review, because I really thought that that was an amazing set. I also do Doctor Who action figure reviews and also Marvel Legends, as well as my own artwork. So yeah, I know my channel's going through a bit of a crisis at the moment. I'm not sure, do I want to be an artwork channel? Do I want to do the figures? But I would really appreciate it if you guys would let me know down in the comments below what you think of my toy reviews and what you think of my artwork, which one you guys want to see more, because this channel is just as more about you guys as it is for me. So I really do appreciate all those of you who leave likes, comments, and just everything really. So thank you all so much, and thank you all so much for watching if you're a newcomer. So please like, share, and subscribe, guys. Stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.